Good morning and welcome to today's edition of MachineTV. Today we're at our friend's Seattle Coffee Company and we're going to be having a chat with Mr. France Gueit. France has been in the manufacturing industry for 35 years and we're going to be asking him his opinion on the current challenges and also opportunities facing manufacturers in today's difficult times. Let's go inside and have a word with him. Welcome, France. As someone who's been in the manufacturing industry in South Africa for 35 years, give us your opinions on the challenges and opportunities facing manufacturers in South Africa today.
Hi Lee, thank you for the opportunity. Challenges, I think there's a multitude of challenges that we face in South Africa, no different to the rest of the world. I think one of the major challenges in the current economic and political environment at the moment is lack of foreign direct investment. We need to be very, very careful that doesn't become a trickle to nothing, because I think a country of this size, its lifeblood is investment, and we need to build a strong manufacturing base rather than a diminishing one. How do we do this? One of the ways, I believe, is by making sure our manufacturers and all the players involved in the industry are focused on bringing manufacturing costs down. Bringing manufacturing costs down by always selling the best product for the application, in terms of making sure that that particular manufacturer's component is the best quality product at acceptable margins for sustainability. In other words, not focusing too much on trying to save overall saving of a hamburger in just the lettuce. Look at all the other things that make up a hamburger, and identify what are the areas in a hamburger that you need to chase first. Is it the lettuce or is it the meat?
France, you like to use the comparison of the lettuce versus the patty in the hamburger. Explain a little bit more to our viewers.
Well, it's quite simple, Lee. In my experiences in the industry over the last 30 years in carbide tooling sales into the industry, I found very often manufacturers focus purely on the price of the commodity and not looking at overall costs. Overall costs improve things like amount of hours you need to take to produce a certain batch of components, the quality of the component, the consistency of the product, the commodity that's supplied. But really it's about time in a sense. But the lettuce analogy is more about identifying which fixed costs one should concentrate on to reduce the overall cost of a product. And why do I use the word lettuce? Looking at a hamburger manufacturer, if he needs to reduce the price of his hamburger, how does he do it? Does he focus on trying to save on the lettuce, which is possibly less than 5% of the overall cost of the hamburger, or does he target the beef, which is possibly the highest component in terms of costs at the start? So that's what I mean by the lettuce. But there's a multitude of other factors. I mean, time is hugely important. Manufacture in South Africa produces a commodity which an unseen competitor globally is producing as well. If that guy produces it quicker than the guy in South Africa is at risk. How would I use it as a comparison? Trucking company. Two trucking companies operating a delivery service from point A to point B, same distances. First company does the distance in 20 to 30% quicker time. The second company purely chooses to focus on the cost of the tires to try and reduce that by 15%, but he does the time in 25 to 30% longer. Who's going to be competitively advantageous in the market? Surely it's the guy who's doing the distance in less time.
So France, do you think that the manufacturer should always focus on time saving?
Maybe not always, Lee, but definitely in 90% of the time. And why do I say this? It's simple, really. the manufacturer has his own challenges. He has a workforce that he uses to help him achieve his numbers. At the end of the day, the cycle time or cost per unit is determined by a multitude of factors. But the most important one is time. How do you now control, manage and lead a workforce into choosing when you want to be the best and when you don't want to be the best? You, I believe, start confusing your partners, and you never end up being able to all be focused, rowing in the same direction. An example I like to bring in is a sporting analogy. Usain Bolt has been the Olympic champion for the last 3 Olympics. Do you believe Usain only travels to be trains to be the best in 5% of the time that he's training, or is he trying to be the best? Is he eating, living, breathing to be number one all the time, or is he choosing when he wants to be? And I think we all have a responsibility to the South African market. We need to step up and be the change in what needs to happen from the ground up. We need to be more competitive. If we're not, we stand to be at risk on losing the lucrative contracts that an industry this size really needs to survive on, to be sustainable moving forward.
France, thanks very much for sharing that with us. And I think this is a good opportunity for us to speak to other people in the industry as well, and perhaps even have a roundtable discussion with other role players, and we can get their opinion on what they believe is happening in the manufacturing industry in South Africa today.
Thank you, Lee. It's a pleasure, and I welcome the opportunity. It's appreciated. And I'm always willing, I think your idea is a very good one, I'm always willing to debate these points and debate the industry as a whole around a table with anybody else. I believe debate is healthy. Debate brings out some more focus, extra focus, and it also creates actions. So yeah, I would really appreciate an opportunity to do that. Thank you.
Thanks, France.